Working to end white supremacy and oppression is not easy, but will be crucial to our movement to end gender-based and intimate violence. It will take work on multiple levels, interpersonally, within our anti-violence organizations, and with our communities.
Anyone who has positional authority needs to be attentive to doing their own work first, and that this work to undo racism cannot be on the backs of women of color in our organizations. I'm talking to the folks that identify as white folks to say you have to do your own work first, and you have to make sure that you're not creating more emotional labor, unpaid emotional labor, for the women of color in your organization. It's important as advocates do this anti-racism work on an interpersonal level that we do not conflate discomfort, which is a time when you're learning and growing and stretching, with the idea of safety. This is not about being unsafe, it's about being uncomfortable and learning and growing into a new world.
What in your mission and your vision is speaking to, the work that is nonstop? How are staff supported to have these conversations with each other? What kind of commitments are you making? How are you making those commitments, directly to the public, to your participants who come in for services, when you are, recruiting potential board members, when you are looking for volunteers? That has to be in the conversation all the time.
We say we're doing anti-violence work and anti-oppression work, then what are we for? We're for liberation, we're for healing and transformative justice. And so what does that actually mean? How do we put practices behind the words that we're throwing out there? And for us, it's not just a mission statement, but it's something that we are constantly checking in with each other about. We have an anti-oppression agreement that we have our staff, volunteers, our members sign, and we go through it not just like, here's this document that you should read and sign, but we go like one by one reading this document together, and really talking about like, what are the things that come up?
When you look at grassroots solutions emerging from projects that are led by people of color, especially queer and transgender people of color, that's where you see the creative solutions that think beyond the criminal legal system. And I really believe that if we start to elevate the leadership of people of color into well-funded anti-violence organizations, that's when we can elevate those really relevant and effective strategies that can actually help us heal and end intimate violence rather than managing it.
The majority of our members are Black and Latinx, low to no income people of color. And it's really important for us to lift up their voices and to be led by them. And that doesn't, like, it sounds easy of like, okay, here's this, here's a mic, you lead the way, but it's more of like actually coming together and looking at obstacles that may get in the way of lifting up our voice.
Organizations can benefit themselves, can invest in the sustainability of their efforts by investing in the leadership of communities of the global majority, communities of color. Community engagement is not going to get us anywhere. Community leadership is. I think another way that programs can support the leadership of people of the global majority is to figure out ways to not abandon people, not promote people as leaders and then abandon them and expect that they're somehow going to figure everything out, but that they figure out ways to support them and back them and to be present and available for when mistakes are made. I think we get to welcome mistakes. We get to invite errors and judgment. It's a great way to be learning institutions.
The Idaho Coalition determined that what are we working towards? We are working towards the liberation of the last girl, or the most marginalized amongst us in our communities, which are women of color, trans women, people with disabilities, and more.
Where is the accountability of the system to change? So it doesn't fall just solely on hiring a bicultural, bilingual advocate, but also how is the system going to adapt to acknowledge the fact that that system needs to be more accessible in so many different ways.
You'll experience opposition that comes mostly from a place of fear. Just expect that. Stay with your purpose. Understand that this is the most important work. It is the most urgent work that we need to be doing in our country right now.
I think as an organization that supports survivors, it's really our responsibility to address the conditions that our participants are living in. Our participants are mostly Black and Latinx folks. They experience high rates of incarceration, deportation, and poverty. For us, it was necessary to do organizing around these issues. We are part of the Free SF Coalition, the Immigrant Rights Coalition, and we are also part of the Known USF Jail Coalition that was started in order to stop funding going into this new jail and to be built in San Francisco. We were victorious in stopping that. That was a huge victory. That without the allies and the partnerships we have now, we wouldn't have been able to do that.
The Oregon Coalition has been doing anti-racism work for over 30 years. One of the things I'm most excited about right now is our interruptions toolkit that looks at how do we do interruptions of oppression in all areas of our lives, from professional to personal to systemic, and what do those interruptions look like? And so it's a really fun way to begin to do this work. I believe strongly that if we're going to shift the energy of oppression, we have to do it by bringing liberation in, right? We need that framework. Like, what does it look like to be free from oppression? And so these tools that we're doing in Oregon are all about that. What drives me is, I want to end violence, but more than that, I want to see a liberated world. And so when I say to keep the vision or the framework of liberation in mind, liberation looks like us living in a world where we're nurturing toward one another, but also in a world where we're allowed to be our own beautiful best self, a world that accepts all the differences and all of the complexities that can show up as human and welcomes them. And so when I center that, I get excited about this work. That's the kind of joy that that gets you up in the morning every morning for 35 years. It's, you want to end something, but more than that, let's go build something, right? And let's build a world that is liberated and beautiful and welcoming for all of us in all of our complex and interesting ways.